She told her husband it was a territory thing. It was never a territory thing. Consuela Bramwell Osei had spent 8 years as a veterinary technician before she left the clinic to raise her son full-time, and she thought that background gave her an edge most parents didn't have. She knew dog body language. She knew resource guarding when she saw it. She was certain for 4 straight days that she was seeing exactly that. Her Rottweiler, Bruno, was 5 years old, sturdy, and even-tempered, the kind of dog neighbors described as a gentle wall. He had never shown a hint of possessiveness over anything. Not toys, not food, not attention, which was what made the couch a strange place for it to start. 2-year-old Amara had taken to sitting pressed against Consuela's side on the sofa most afternoons, a little clingier than usual, a little warmer to the touch than Consuela wanted to admit she'd noticed. On Monday, when Consuela stood to answer the door, Bruno wedged his whole body into the gap she'd left, blocking Amara from sliding down, and refused to move even when Consuela nudged him with her knee. "Bruno, off," she said. He stayed exactly where he was, eyes fixed on Amara's chest, rising and falling. That detail would matter. She didn't know that yet. Tuesday, it escalated. Every time Consuela tried to shift Amara to change her diaper or carry her to the kitchen, Bruno inserted himself between them, low growl in his throat, body angled to keep the toddler pinned against the cushions. Consuela's husband, Tobias, watched it happen Tuesday night and said the thing she'd been avoiding. He's guarding her like she's his. Consuela nodded slowly. She had the training, she knew what possessive guarding looked like in large breeds, and she knew the incident reports that came from ignoring it. "We can't let this continue," she said. Wednesday morning, Bruno went to a boarding kennel 2 miles away. Temporary, responsible, exactly what any careful dog owner would do. He didn't destroy anything in his kennel run. He simply refused to lie down, pacing the length of the enclosure for hours, according to the attendant who called to check in. Wednesday evening, with Bruno gone, Amara grew quieter than Consuela had ever seen her. Not crying, worse than crying. Flat, unresponsive to her favorite show. Consuela told herself it was just missing the dog, an attachment thing, nothing more. At 9:50 that night, the kennel called. Bruno had been throwing himself against the enclosure gate for over an hour, hard enough that the attendant was worried he'd injure himself. Something in the tone of that call, the specific alarm in the woman's voice, made Consuela's stomach drop in a way her training couldn't explain away. She checked on Amara immediately. The toddler was breathing, but her chest was working harder than it should, a faint whistling sound on each exhale that Consuela, despite 8 years around animals, had never learned to listen for in a child. She had Amara at the emergency room within 20 minutes. Dr. Folasade Kingsley Amati, pediatric pulmonology, listened to Amara's lungs and ordered imaging before Consuela had finished explaining the week. The diagnosis came back within the hour. Early-stage bronchiolitis, rapidly progressing with oxygen saturation dropping into a range that required immediate intervention. This can move very quickly in toddlers her age, Dr. Kingsley Amati said. Whatever made you bring her in tonight, you didn't wait too long, but you weren't far from it either. Consuela sat with that sentence in the hallway for a long time. Bruno wedging himself against Amara on the couch. Not possessiveness, he was positioning himself to monitor her breathing at close range. The way dogs are known to do around respiratory distress, they can hear and smell before any human notices. The low growl each time Consuela tried to move her, not aggression toward the mother he loved, a protest against separation from the exact vantage point he needed. And the kennel gate, hour after hour that night, not destructive anxiety, a dog trying to get back to the only job that mattered to him. If stories about what animals notice before we do are your thing, you're exactly where you belong. Subscribe so you catch the next one. Bruno came home from boarding the following afternoon. He didn't bound through the door the way he usually did. He walked straight to the couch, climbed up beside Amara's oxygen monitor-equipped bassinet, and lay his head against the cushion, watching her chest rise and fall. Has your dog ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that did? Tell us in the comments below. Amara's oxygen levels stabilized within 3 days. The first night she slept through without the monitor's soft alarm sounding once, Consuela found Bruno already stretched along the base of the bassinet, not asleep, ears still turning toward every small sound the room made. If these stories matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. The next story is about a dog who changed his sleeping spot 3 weeks before anyone in the house had a name for what was wrong.